to be talking about a specific book. It's just in general, just reading and such. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Just like sit down, have a chat about books and reading and the way reading is nowadays with, the influence of social media like TikTok and such. So, yeah. But happy release day for Sunrise on the Reaping. Yay. I would show you the book, but I have pre-ordered it. But a pre-order in Ireland means that you don't get the book until a while after. When I pre-ordered Kingdom of Ash, it took like 2 weeks to get to me. So I'm getting Sunrise on the Reaping next Monday. I'm not happy. I'm not. But I've seen someone that I follow on Goodreads give it 5 stars. And I'm really excited. I'm so excited for this book. I was going to do like a Katniss Everdeen hair this morning for work, but I didn't want to wake up earlier, so I didn't. But I really wanted to do her like plait that goes from like one side to the other, the iconic Katniss Everdeen hair. She is an iconic woman. But reading books. So you'll see anyways in my March wrap up, but this month has been a bit of a different reading month, in that I have read a lot more of a slower paced fantasy duology, but it's actually a trilogy, but he hasn't written it yet, even though he's 10 years late. Anyways, so yeah, I started watching this booktuber. His name is Thomas R. something, but his style of booktube is very much something I wouldn't think I'd like. It's very slow. It's slow. It's intentional. He's very good with his words. And he's a fan of slow, high fantasy books. And his videos have really inspired me to read more high fantasy, slow paced books, or just high fantasy. I've read a few high fantasy, but without a doubt, I am a YA fantasy girly. That's just, it's when I started getting into more dystopian fantasy books. Obviously I was a young adult, I was younger, so I read YA, and I've just always had this connection with YA, even though I'm not a young adult. Well, what age does a young adult stop being a young adult? Am I just an adult? That's kind of scary. But he also doesn't use any filler words in his videos, and I think that he packs even more of a punch. I recommend, if you can find him, please subscribe to him. He made me think about reading in a different light. He made me actually want to read books and enjoy what I'm reading. Because nowadays it's very much about the numbers. Subconsciously. Maybe not consciously, you might be thinking about it. Because for me, she's subconsciously in there. Just from seeing every single thumbnail, or not really TikTok, it's more thumbnail YouTube for me, where it's like, oh, I read 6 books in this 24 hours, or I read 20 books this month. So it's really warped my view of reading. books into reading because, dude, before TikTok, romance books are like, you'd never see Penelope Douglas, Mariana Zapata in the bookshops in Ireland. Colleen Hoover, you would have seen her, but that's really the extent. You wouldn't have seen those cute rom-coms that we have nowadays, like the really cute picture ones, so cute. You would not see those nowadays, and it's just really nice to see them in bookshops and to be like loud and proud with my romance book. But like deep down, I will and always forever be a fantasy girly. I adore fantasy. I get lost in fantasy. I get lost in romance too. I sometimes read thrillers or mysteries. If I find one that I like, I've read a few of Riley Sager and other random ones. I read a really popular one, something on the train, Girl on the Train, I think, and I didn't like it. I read that years ago now. I'm getting tired from holding this mic. Also, I'm getting out of breath. I don't know why. I'm literally sitting down. Yeah. What else? What was I saying? Yes, so this Booktober. Adore. So high fantasy, slow paced. I feel like me, like fast paced books with action, or if it's a romance, like we need some conflict, we need some smut quickly and within a timely period. And I feel like that's because of how short our attention span is nowadays. Because of those, I love them. I don't watch them often, but I love them. Where it's videos where you watch someone play a game and someone else is speaking, so you're listening to them speak, but you're also watching them play a game. It's like it's too much for our brain or for us, but we've gotten used to it, and I therefore I like it. It's kind of fun. Where was I going with this? Oh yes, I feel like our attention span is so little. It is minute, and it's really hard to no longer have the attention span of a newborn child. No, but a newborn child have a very fast attention span of like a chicken. Because if you ever watch chickens, they're going at the ground trying to find this worm. Immediately they go to where the other chicken is because they think they have a worm. I don't know what I'm talking about, but if you get my drift, nice. So yeah, so I want to read more slow paced because I struggled. I really did struggle reading them because there was literally no action. It was like this. It was like an autobiography, but just a fantasy book. It was just life. Reading about someone's life. Going into detail, delving into the character, how they came to be, their childhood, to them growing up. And that's very unusual to me in fantasy books, because fantasy books, there needs to be a conflict, there needs to be something happening for it to be considered a fantasy book to me. Obviously I'll talk about this book more in my marriage wrap up. Oh my god, did you hear my stomach? I had popcorn. Yes, that was all I had to say. So, I gave myself the goal of reading 100 pages a day for that fantasy book, because it was long. And there were so many segments where I was completely drowned you like reading fantasy. You like reading words on a page because they transform you. So I've just reminded myself to be in the moment, to literally just be in the moment with the character. Yes, they could be talking about climbing a tree, but just be with them. And I just wanna grit out a book if I feel like I'm not enjoying it, or I'm not enjoying it. Basically me not finding any like action. But then that's is it even personal preference for me to like a book that has action and, you know, fast pace and stuff, or is it just I've been wired to like fast pace because it's what I'm used to watching, or like, if does that make sense? Like, I'm used to going on YouTube, clicking from one video to the other, TikTok, flick. So wouldn't that also correlate to reading? Of wanting to finish books, wanting to get through so many other ones, and that is always in the back of my head, unfortunately. Not even for outside viewing, not even for like a wrap up or something. It's just that I look at the books that I physically have and I'm like, I need to get through them. There's like this need in me. It's like I must read them. I must get through them. Why? Who knows? It's not like there's a guy holding a gun to my head saying, Sarah, if you don't read these books, something's going to happen. I don't know when this started developing in this way. And then a few days ago, I was like, should I just delete my Goodreads? Because if I can't see my TBR, then I won't feel so small. You know, like small as in I see how many books I want to read, like 500 books, 700 books. And just knowing I don't have enough time. And also I don't want to spend all my life reading. So therefore then I'm like, I must get through as many books as possible. So then to get rid of that problem, should I just get rid of my Goodreads? But then I would only look for books that I see on YouTube or anywhere else. Any popular books at that moment, at that time. So then would I even like find books that might benefit me more than like a short 300-page fantasy book that is carbon copy of every single other fantasy book? Or do I want, or like, would it be better for me to get like a good chunky fantasy that's hard but it'll be worth it? You know, it's like a delayed gratification with these long-winded books. Sometimes they don't work out, but other times, because you've gritted through them, like they just feel so much more better at the end. But then DNFing is a thing, and I personally never used a DNF. I don't go out of my way to DNF books, but I don't really do it often. If I'm not really liking a book, I usually like to just read it because I have it. I'll read it. Like Ninth House, I didn't like Ninth House. I don't like Lee Bardugo's writing. That's the only way I can think of it, because I've never liked any of her books. But I love the thought of them. I love the idea of them, and I absolutely love Shadow and Bone TV show. One of my favorites, and then it was cancelled. Very sad. So yeah, I just don't vibe with her writing, which is of course normal. You can't like I love graphic novels. I think they are the one I read recently, like on a bad day. It was so nice to read. It made me giggle, it made me laugh. I'll also obviously talk about that in my March wrap up. But I love graphic novels, and I haven't read one in a while. Not for any particular reason, just that I haven't gone out and looked for them on Goodreads to find them. But I got another one today from the library, which I'm gonna start tonight, and it's exciting. I also want to read more mangas. I've read a few. I've read obviously the iconic Death Note series. I've tried Tokyo Ghoul. It didn't work out well. Orange, that was very good. Very sad. I am reading Spy X Family, which I adore. I adore this series. I can't remember what else I've read from manga. I haven't read a lot. The thing is that I want to read so many, because as one booktuber, she reads a lot, and I follow her on Goodreads. So then when I see her that she's read a manga recently and she's rated it highly, I usually go on my library and I request. But so many of those books, there's such a high request. So many people have requested it that it takes months for them to come in. So then I'm like, oh, cancel. Like there's one now. I don't think I cancelled it, but did I cancel it? I don't know. But I want to read that one. It's like The Princess and the Sandwich or something like that. Yes, I love books. I love books. They really do transport me, and I haven't felt like transported since, like, in a while. It really became prevalent to me yesterday when I was reading that graphic novel, the good old graphic novel, because life has not been great. Life has, quite frankly, been the worst, and yeah, it was really hard for me to get out of my own mind, out of my own thoughts, especially yesterday. And was it yesterday or the day before? It was one of the days. And I was, when you start a book, you still have those thoughts, but it's not till you get a few more pages in that the thoughts slowly start to go away, and you start, thinking about the story. So that is what happened, and because my emotions, how I was, my thoughts were so loud, they were so effing loud, reading the graphic novel and just not realizing that I was fully in it until I stopped reading, of how nice it was. It was so nice. It was so lovely. Just being so absorbed in the book and not having life interrupt. It was a good moment, and that's why I rated the book so highly, or the graphic novel so highly, because it did something for me. And the book doesn't have to be written the best. It doesn't have to have amazing characters. It doesn't have to have a good plot. As long as you get something from it, as long as you feel a good way about it, you can rate it 5 stars. Don't even worry. If it's a book that's all smut and you had a fab time, dude, rate it how you want it. 5 stars, 4 stars, whatever. Because reading's about just enjoyment. It's a hobby, which is so interesting, because I think book slumps, dudes, I said to myself I would stop talking, and here I am, still talking about books. Stop this, woman. But book slumps, or reading slumps, I think they're such a marketing technique. They are tennis is a hobby. Do you play tennis 5 hours a day, every single day? No. And do you feel guilty about not doing that every day? No. It's the same as reading. Reading, you don't have to read 5 hours every single day. I wish I could portray my thoughts a lot better, because in my head I had such a good, gripping thing to talk about this, but it just did not come out right. But did that make sense to you? I hope that did. Because just reading slumps is such a good marketing technique. But I do feel guilty, or I feel weird if I don't read a book, or if I don't read anything that day or every day. I'd feel a bit like strange, or like, am I okay? Am I okay? If I don't read my book, I'm like, I must be tired. Because it's like a reflex now. It's like maybe I'm like an Olympian reader. Whereas, like Olympians, they have to do their craft very often to get the best, or be the best that they can be. Maybe I'm an Olympian reader. I must read every day, or else my brain does not feel good. Or I feel like I'm not okay. Or I've just warped my brain to thinking that way. Who knows? Right, we're gonna do a quick intermission of skincare. Yes, let's do my skincare, but what are your thoughts? Do you disagree with what I say, or agree? What are your unpopular opinions? Let me know. Also, it really annoys me, but I understand it, because I also did it, or I also would do it, but it never left annoys me. I'm just a walking, talking hypocrite. When people do obviously like their TikTok reels and stuff, and it's like, oh, books, like the best fantasy books there is, and it's always the fucking same ones. It's always The Cruel Prince, Akatar. What else is there? Fantasy, Quicksilver, probably now, because that's popular. But the thing is, I did the exact same thing, because that's what the people want to see. They don't want to see a fucking rogue book that they'd never heard about, because they can't relate to it. So then every single goddamn video is just a carbon copy paste with a different audio that makes you feel a type of way. Like if you put a fantasy audio on a fantasy recommendation, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I should read these books, but I've already read all of them. So, because it's so interesting. But it can't really change. Like I don't think you can change it that much. Besides, let's say adding a random book, or one that's not really heard of that much, like once, or like in the stack of pile that are already well known in like a recommendation video. Yeah. But it's also very hard to recommend books if you don't physically have them. When I'm talking about this, I'm talking about like recommending TikTok version of, they do the audio like, oh, these are some of the best romancers or fantasy books, and then they show all the books. It's really hard. Wait, what was I saying? I don't know. Wait, what? Dude, when I was in Camp America, last year, I had one really good friend. He's still my really good friend. He's American. He said that I had autism and ADHD. Never in my life, never have I had someone tell me that I give off like autistic and ADHD vibes. Never. It was like, what do you mean by that? But I can understand, because enjoy. I'm gonna upload this tomorrow, I think. So I'll have still not have the book. So very sad. Very sad. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a great time. I love talking about something I'm passionate about, which is books. I just fucking love books. I've been reading books my whole life. And they're just the best. They are the best. But also, I need to tell myself to actually get out of my house. Go for a hike, you know? Because I